Well, it's that time of the week where I like to bring in Robin Cross of StoneX in Chicago and talk about the lumber market, which has been one of the craziest markets over the past decade that I've had a chance to cover. And Robin's been along with us for most of the ride. Robin, what's going on in the lumber trade here this week with everything upside down in the housing market?
Good morning, Marlon. Good morning, and thank you for having me as always. It's a pleasure. First, we'll do some prices, then we'll kind of dive into sort of lackluster details this morning. We got September lumber trading, which will be expiring September 15th. So, you're just in that period right before no limits. So open interest is already starting to degrade. September's trading at $533.50 right now. That's up $350 with only 29 contracts. And you remember this exact time last year, we changed from a car contract to a truck contract. So in old terms, that's really only a handful of cars, which is not much business at all, unfortunately. November's trading, which is now your lead by open interest, $534, that's up $350 with 20 trades over there, so lackluster volume as well. Well, Marlon, the summer doldrums remain in full effect, with underlying cash being reported yesterday by Random Lengths at 413 mil and 521 delivered Chicago. The futures market is literally fully converged at these current price levels. So whether you're bullish or bearish, with the lack of premium and or the lack of discounted prices, the futures board does not really provide any real obvious opportunity for traders to exploit. Combine that with dog days of summer and you get a very lackluster sideways market, which we have. So what's next for the market? I guess we'll kind of talk about some future stuff. Traders should continue to monitor the wildfires in BC. That's been kind of on the tip of everybody's lips is, watch the fires for any possible disruption in logistics. There's already some mills kind of talking about it, but, that's kind of a day-by-day thing. You can't really base a trade off that. So traders should also keep an eye on the housing market. We all know interest rates are at a 20-plus year high, but the housing market is clearly underbuilt. With, 3.3 months supply of homes on our last existing homes report, that is about half of my entire career, and I just had my 27th year anniversary here. That's literally half of normal. So there's a lot of pent-up demand there, right, for housing. And any potential home buyer should have a real debate on their next home purchase. On one hand, with rates being so high, it sort of creates a lid on home prices. With that kind of demand that we have out there, and like we were talking about during the break, the fact that prices are holding, and that's really just because there's not a bunch of inventory out there. So we know, the rates are high, kind of keeping the prices locked where they're at now. But on the other hand, knowing we are underbuilt, when rates eventually do come off, there will be a rush of home buying, and with increased demand, as you well know, in any of these markets you talk about, prices will also increase. So future home buyer needs to really decide what's more advantageous for them. Buy now, pay high interest rates, but probably save some money on the cost of the home, and refinance later, or, roll the bones, wait for rates to come down and buy when everyone else is buying. So there's a real delicate balance here, and I'm kind of anxious and see how that all turns out, And, beyond that, there's really not too much going on in lumber. I do think that, once we get by Labor Day, that I think the business will pick up dramatically. Typically this is August, as I always tell you every year, good buddy, is that this is typically our lowest kind of volume activity month of the year. And it really is based on outside factors, whether it be hurricanes or fires. And since you kind of got a little of that, but nothing too substantial, I don't see that affecting prices. But I do believe with the last building season being in the fall before winter, we should see an uptick in price and demand and action, if you will.
Wow.
But we're just not there yet. I think we've got a couple days yet still to get through, get this summer wrapped up, good buddy.
That's very insightful. I appreciate you putting all the pieces together and connecting all the dots there, because the housing market is kind of a fickle thing. And yeah, man, that's some good stuff. Some great points you bring up about the tie-in with the interest rates. And boy, if they do drop, I guess all of a sudden you'll have a completely crazy lumber market too. We've seen that before. Excellent stuff, Robin. Thank you for sharing some time with us. Robin Cross of StoneX in Chicago with a look at our lumber industry and the housing market. We'll come back in just a moment. We'll take a look at livestock next.